Okay. I want to introduce Stefania Romisch, that looks an awful lot like Marc Weiss, because she works for NIST and the government closed, so she couldn't be here. What I'm going to ask, though, is when Marc is concluded, would the 4 people that are going to be part of the next session please come up and sit on the stage and wait for Marc to finish? Stefania. Marc.
Still morning. Good morning. I didn't know whether to say good morning or good afternoon, but I guess it's still good morning. Thank you. And so you all know about the government shutdown, and Stefania would have been here, except the government was shut down when she would have traveled yesterday. So I talked to her last night about what she needed to do. I'm currently contracting with Booz Allen, but I worked actually for Stefania in NIST in Boulder, so I'm pretty familiar with what they're doing, and I did in fact talk with her about what she wants to stress in this talk. So I can answer some questions, and we can certainly refer to her. She'll be very happy to respond to emails and so forth. Okay, so there she in the time and frequency division in Boulder is working on a robust timing infrastructure. I should also say that Stefania is head of the group that runs the NIST timescale. So she's very familiar with GPS and timing issues and so forth. We've already seen that there's a big need for time. Time is everywhere. All these infrastructure, all these sectors need time. And the question is, what do they need? What does that mean to say they need time? And so Stefania's group has broken that down into these words: accurate time and assured access to time. Assured access. What does that mean? So just some example numbers. These are not the end of the world numbers. Stefania just wanted me to emphasize that these are just example numbers. So for example, in the smart grid, the numbers look like somewhere in the range of 1 millisecond to 100 nanoseconds of accuracy. Telecom, if it moves into 5G, might go down to 100 nanoseconds, might even go down to 20 nanoseconds. The financial markets are now talking about 50 milliseconds down to, and we've heard 1 microsecond, we've even heard tighter than that today. So that's what accuracy means. And I'm gonna jump to the other end over here, this UTC. What does time mean? Because you want to know accuracy against what. And the what is, in many cases, it's UTC, but it doesn't have to be. For many systems, they only need synchronization against a local clock. So it's important to realize when you're talking about accuracy against what? And then you need confidence. The word assured means that you're confident that the signal is healthy, and maybe there's a fail-safe mode. And then access to time, the availability. Okay, so there's some examples of available technology. These are, again, this is certainly not a complete list of where you could get time. GNSS, we all know about. You may not know what the acronym over here is, this TWSTFT. That's two-way satellite time and frequency transfer. It's how NIST transfers UTC. It compares UTC from NIST to Europe, and it's the most accurate way we have of transferring time around the world. There's the Iridium system, which is actually, there's a system that you can subscribe to, and I think we're going to hear more about that today. WWVB is, that's a NIST radio station. ITS is, again, that's a NIST acronym. That's the Internet Time Service. That's our NTP system. And there's an asterisk on the accuracy. They say 10 milliseconds is kind of the best you can expect. And Stefania wanted me to just underline that if you're running on a LAN, it's a little overwritten on the bottom, but if you're on a LAN, you can get much better than that. But of course, across the public network, NTP, 10 milliseconds or worse. eLORAN could do better than a microsecond. PTP, about a microsecond, dependent on the network that you're running it on again. And atomic clocks can hold 10 nanoseconds a day, but they don't provide accuracy until they're set. Okay, and the point is that none of these alone will satisfy that AAA requirement: assurance, accuracy, and availability. None of these alone can do all three of them, but if you can combine them in some way, and this is just, again, an example of, just to show the idea of combining them, adding in diagnostic capabilities and getting a timing output, then you can, in principle, have some measure of all of these: accuracy, assurance, and availability. So, and then there's this picture, which is kind of hard to see, but the point of putting that in is it came from the 2017 Federal Navigation Plan, and her point is that this concept that she's talking about is not one that they're making up. It actually is part of what's been envisioned in this plan. Is there are multiple threats, there are multiple ways of mitigating these threats, and a successful strategy will combine all of them in some way, or combine multiple sources of time and multiple diagnostic capabilities in order to solve this problem. Okay, so the roadmap is to take users, timing manufacturers, GNSS manufacturers, government, those are the stakeholders, bring them together, look at what are measurable parameters, what are performance categories, how do you characterize contributing technologies, and a compliance program to inform the user. And as side issues, a lot of industries need education to get awareness of what are their time dependencies. Many industries don't even know how dependent they are on precise time, and to evaluate the criticality of their time information. How critical is it? How is their fail-safe mode? And the infrastructure for synergistic solutions. And again, finally, the roadmap is that they're going to put together a workshop to start designing how do we solve this across the nation. It's going to be in conjunction with this workshop on synchronization and timing systems that, in fact, this workshop is kind of an offshoot of that. This workshop will be in June. Her workshop will follow that. And she wanted me to say that this is all being done in conjunction with the DHS Science and Technology Directorate. And there's a follow-on workshop that would then happen in January of 2019 with the ION PTTI conference that's happening next week this year also. So that's the story. And should I take the question? All right, thank you.